Hello and welcome back to another Warcraft lore video. This time we're going to be talking about the Sandfury trolls and Zul'Farrak. These guys are perhaps a little bit less lore rich than some of the other trolls, but I'll be going off what I can find in-game, and then also some stuff in the old RPG source material. So first of all, who are the Sandfury? Well, pretty much they're just another offshoot of the trolls. They used to be part of the main Gurbashi Empire, but after the Shattering, things changed. They were either split off from the main empire, or were stranded in Tanaris, but it's possible that they were also left behind so that they could suppress the Akir. The trolls and the Akir were very old enemies, and actually one of the largest pre-War of the Ancient battles happened between those two races. It was essentially just a massive war. A lot of both sides died, but eventually the trolls did get the upper hand, forcing the Akir into hiding. And then, of course, after many thousand years, Kuthun, etc., the stuff that happened in Ankiraj, and I think it was patch 1.9? I think, yeah, it was 1.9. Something like that. Anyway, so that's what was going on with the Akir. So for whatever reason, they were left in the desert, and this had a few effects in terms of what they looked like that differentiate them from the main trolls. While they still kind of look like trolls, the main differences are that their skin is now more coarse and hardened, and it's either a gold or a black colour. Also, their tusks are black, unlike the kind of usual ivory colour that we sort of expect from trolls. Anyway, so they used to control all of Tanaris, but really their iron grip over the region has loosened over time a mixture of attacks from various factions, like the Steamweedle Cartel of Goblins and their trade princes, and the Silithid, and then I suppose later on the Alliance and Horde, and because of these, they are now down to really just a few key strongholds that you find throughout the zone, and I suppose after us players finished questing in Tanaris, they're probably all but dead. Their main settlement is Zul'Farrak, and Zul'Farrak itself is a decent-sized dungeon for level 44 to 54 players. Other than being the main settlement for the Sandfury, its major sort of claim to fame is that there's apparently this legendary sword inside it called Zul'Farrak the Lasher. It's a powerful troll blade of legend which was thought to be lost, but there are sort of rumours that lead to a few different things, which I'll cover in a bit. Other than the blade, there is a Hydra there called Gazrilla, which some call a demigod, but it really seems like it was more just a pet of the old gods. Now the weapon. It was broken, but it's rumoured that both parts of the weapon have actually been found. This led to a mercenary band under the control of Sergeant Bly, who you find when you're inside Zul'Farrak, going into the city and trying to acquire the weapon. This didn't really go too well for them. They got captured by the trolls, and when we players find them, they're pretty much just awaiting execution. That said, we end up killing them anyway, so what's it all for? Anyway, next, let's go over the bosses and then round off the video. So, we have the first one being Necromancer Valrathia, I think, something like that. And she is basically just a regular troll, has a bit of magic, but her only special thing is that she's pretty well travelled, and I suppose this is the explanation for why she looks a little bit more like a regular troll than the Sandfury ones. It's unfortunate sometimes a lot of the bosses that we find are really just thrown in there as token things. Now the next one is not a token thing, it's Gazrilla, who is a giant hydra, and is considered to be a demigod by some source material, but honestly a pretty weak demigod. I mean, the players just nuke it down. When you consider that, or compare that I suppose, to some of the other demigods, nah, I don't really buy it. What I do think is true though, and what we do know is that Gazrilla was a pet of the old gods. And the old gods were really into hydras, as you can probably, well I suppose as you know from my old video on, what was it? It was the instance that's inside Ashenvale, that's it. The old gods are very much into their hydras to use as pets, so this is once again just an example of that, and Gazrilla's a pretty strong hydra, I suppose. Anyway, because of all this stuff, Gazrilla is worshipped by the trolls. So next we have Atan Sol, who is the Basilisk Man. He likes basilisks, and that's really as far as his character goes. Next we have Theka the Martyr, who is just the regular affair. His special thing is that he's undead, having been slain himself in the war with the Akir. He was later risen up by Witch Doctor Zumra. And speaking of Witch Doctor Zumra, he is a witch doctor, and he raises the city's dead to continue fighting on for the city, so I suppose it's kind of useful to have him around. Next we have Necromancer. These are just guys you fight while rescuing the mercenaries, and they're basically just undead trolls. Then I suppose we have the mercenaries on top of that. You kill them, they die, and that's really about it. One of them has the courtesy to drop a thing of explosives beside a conveniently placed door. And finally, behind that door we find the leader, Chief Urkos Sandscalp. He is obsessed with bringing the tribe back to its former glory, and this is really because he was brought up in a time where their people were far more powerful, and he just kind of wants the glory days back. Thankfully though, we put an end to all that by chopping his head off, and it worked pretty damn well for us. Anyway, that's it for the video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you'd like to support the channel, please check out the links in the description. Yeah, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.